So today we're going to pick up in Colossians chapter 1 and verse 8. Background, previous verse, we were talking about Epaphras as a liaison uh, to to Paul about the Colossians, had relayed as he was establishing that they had learned from Epaphras, and now he's saying he also showing us or showing to us your love in the Spirit, is establishing that again as a liaison he is telling Paul things about the Colossians. So there's really only three words we want to look at there. Showing is the first, which is doulos, delu, and it means to make manifest or plain. Um, I have seen it translated reveal before, though it's not a typical word for that. Um, the next one is love, which is agape. We've talked about that before. And remember that that is a cognitive based love. It's a needs based love. So you assess the needs of someone and then you meet those needs. The emotional part is sort of an after, I don't want to say an afterthought, but maybe an after development. You're invested into that person, and so the emotional part comes from the investment. The last word we want to look at is spirit, and this is a really important fundamental word, and there's a lot of confusion about who the spirit is, what does the spirit do, what does the spirit mean, sort of understanding it. Um, the word there is pneuma, which is it means wind of or breath of, and it's to kind of help remember that. It's where we get some modern words that are related to air, like pneumatic, pneumonia, pneumothorax is another one, which is your chest. So, what does it really mean? And so, fundamentally, if you look at what the Hebrews and the Greeks believed at the time, they believed that your diaphragm was the seat of your character, and that they knew the diaphragm moved your wind, and therefore the wind that came in and out of you, which came off the diaphragm, it went right by the character. It was the seat of the character, and so that wind of you was the true representation of your character. So if we look at that in the perspective of the Holy Spirit, what that means is the Holy Spirit is the true representation of God's character. And you take that one step further, his characteristics. So whether that be power or love or compassion, things that we might call fruit of the Spirit, for example. If we look at all the things that pertain to the Holy Spirit, they're somehow related to his character. All the things the Spirit does in us, the sealing, the filling, the baptism, again, somehow related to his character, different nuances of the same thing, in other words. So in this verse, it talks about your love in the Spirit. It's basically saying that the source of their love is the Holy Spirit. So again, that's one part of, or one characteristic of God. So it's one part of His character in them, and is an example or evidence that they are believers, which is effectively what Paul's talking about here. He's actually getting ready to um, reemphasize that he prays for them in the next verse. He's kind of repeating what he started off with. Again, he repeats himself for emphasis. They didn't have punctuation or capitalization in the original Greek, so that's how you make emphasis, and that's what he's about to do there. So we'll pick up on that thought next week in verse 9.